Hi, and welcome to another episode of the all-new TTown 411 report and our community conversations. We're live here at McKinstry Banquet Hall, located at 5480 Jug Factory Road here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And we're broadcasting live on Sound Booth Radio 106.1 with Sound Booth Radio. Mike, tell them how can they sound in on Sound Booth Radio and Sound Booth TV.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Hey, Daryl. Check us out on Sound Booth Radio. Just go to your iOS or your Google Play Store. Download the Live 365 app. Once you download that app, go in the search bar and type in Sound Booth Radio 106.1. That'll get you on with us on the radio side of Sound Booth Radio. You check us out on the video side. Just go to Facebook, type in Sound Booth Radio 106.1, or go to my personal page, Michael K. Wilson. And you can go to YouTube. Go to YouTube, type in the search bar, Sound Booth Radio 106.1, and that'll get you on with us on Sound Booth TV.
Well, Mike, each and every week, our very own Miss Veronica Taylor gives us the update for COVID. And as of the 13th, they will be putting up an update on, but as of the New York Times, an average of 2,267 cases per day were reported in Alabama in the last week. Cases have increased by 26% from the average 2 weeks ago. Deaths have decreased by 22%. Each and every week, our very own Veronica Taylor provides us with the great information pertaining to the COVID update. As always, we do a quick prayer for everyone that likes to have prayer. And those of you that's joining in or just getting an opportunity to join in, if you would just bow in with us. Before we go, and I need to go ahead and share this to our community conversations. We got our good friend Veronica's already on the program with us. She's chimed in already. And so we just want to thank
Daryl. Hey, Mike.
Great.
Hey, Ron, how you doing?
Just want
I'm
to
all
thank
right.
you.
How you doing?
Good.
I'm sorry about that, Daryl.
You okay? You okay?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I am. I heard you say you was about to say the prayer, so I had almost got prepared for it. So when you said I was on,
Okay, yeah.
I didn't know whether to go ahead and let you go and pray or go ahead and speak there. I like to speak.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and do the prayer, then we'll speak to everyone as they chime in with us. Heavenly Father, we come to you this day to say thank you. Thank you for this day, a day we've never seen before. Heavenly Father, we just want to thank you for all your many blessings, all your mercy, all your grace. Thank you for your grace, Heavenly Father. Right now, we just want to thank you for all the people that's chiming in with us tonight to learn information as we broadcast this information across the airways on Facebook, Heavenly Father. Right now, we're asking for your healing power. Right now, we're asking that you go into the hospitals, and we're asking for healing for the ones that are asking and needing healing in the hospitals. We're asking that you continue to bless and watch over all our doctors, nurses, and receptionists, and housekeeping, laundry department, the housekeeping department, everyone that has something to do with the hospital, Heavenly Father, all the essential workers. Want you to continue to watch over them and continue to protect them from this great danger, Heavenly Father. We're asking that you also protect them at the nursing homes. Look at all the staff members at the nursing home, the doctors and nurses, and all the nursing assistants there. And we're asking that you continue to look over all our elderly and all the nursing homes. We're praying for our mayors and our governors, our president, all the county commissioners, all the city council personnel. We continue that you continue to watch over them and bless them and perk their heart that they make the right decisions for all the people, Heavenly Father. Right now, that we ask that you continue to look over all our pastors and continue to bless them and their families right now. We're asking that you continue to look over them. All the members of all the church families, we're asking that you continue to watch over us as we continue our day-to-day journey, Heavenly Father. In your Son, Jesus Christ's name, we pray. Amen.
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 We're praying for the bereavement families too, y'all. All the bereavement families, lost loved ones. Right now, I understand, there's been some family members and Mike, we had an accident. My family had some of my family members that were coming from New Jersey here to Tuscaloosa last weekend had an accident. That bus that y'all might have read about, I don't know if you read about the bus that had ran off the highway. But anyway, that happened, I think it was in Attala, Alabama, and they were coming through and bus ran off the roadway. I think was going northbound and ended up in southbound lane. It's a blessing that no one got, seriously injured, but, it was like 55 people on the bus, and I think 11 had to go to the doctor and see, get checked out and everything. So we just glad they were coming from New Jersey. And don't ask me who they were because I didn't get a chance to participate hardly this past weekend. And got another family reunion coming up this coming weekend. The heat of the night, the heat of the year is when they decide to do these family reunions. I tell you. But anyway,
Especially the bad Darrow boy when they want you to put that extra cash money in to help make it successful.
oh yeah,
Um, so if you tend to be one of these successful people in the family, they kind of think that you're gonna pick up the slack for everybody else who might can't put their party in.
yeah.
Yeah, that seems to be a norm in a lot of families, I think.
Right. But hey, right now everybody holding their own pretty much. It's a lot of times it's just who all can come in and just be a part of it. Let me bring you on board here with us. Forgot. And Veronica, we're going to have to see about getting you a frame. You've been jumping in with us so kind of early, so we're going to have to send you the link and get you on board on the page with us too, man.
No, what's going on, Veronica? Why you ain't on with us?
I'm going to have to send her. I'm gonna send her a link. I'm gonna send her a link and she.
Oh no, you can get you a link right now if you want to do it. They gonna take you a second now.
Don't take me a second. I can send it to
Mike,
you.
look at him. Oh, Mike looking for light on the thing. Now see,
What's
on the
that?
spot. He put you on the spot like that.
We won't put you on the spot. But we got, the people asked for some information relating to insurance, so we'll be talking about that tonight. I want to say hello to my good friend Reginald Turner. How you doing? Thank you for chiming in. Darius Jackson, thank you for chiming in. Let's see who else chimed in with us. I know it's a Tuesday. It's a beautiful Tuesday evening. I know we talking about insurance, and we don't want to talk about it. We don't want to hear that. But we got a great speaker coming in. This Jackson gonna come in and talk with us about insurance, retirement, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So she's gonna come on about 8:30. Let's see what else we got. Oh, announcements. Let's see. This Saturday, you got the Learn the Rules of Wealthy that they never taught in school. This is going to take place on Saturday over at Northport Community Center. Now, they changed the time from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. from my understanding, and it's absolutely free. Over in Northport, Dr. Sean Hill will be teaching a financial literacy class. That's pretty much what it is, a financial literacy class over at the Northport Community Center that's going to take place this Saturday, the 16th at 11 a.m. I know I've been saying 10 a.m., but it is clearly 11 a.m. So you can be there about 10:30 to get you a good seat. And it's going to take place at the Northport Community Center here in Tuscaloosa. If you're looking for a Boston butt, the Central High School class of 1990 is during a first annual fundraiser, and they are selling Boston butts for $35. It's for $35, and you can pick them up on July the 23rd, and that's going to be from 12 noon to 3 at the Walmart on Skyler. Call my good friend, Miss Val Fowler. That's right, Miss Val Fowler at 205-393-5139. Once again, 205-393-5139. And you can make a donation to, I guess it's going towards Central High School. They're making a donation or taking up money or something. Does that matter? It's a fundraiser. Boston Butts for $35. And you can call my good friend Val Fowler at 205-393-5139. Also, want to remind you about the upcoming event that's going to take place this on August the 20th. August the 20th, My Black is Blue, a stage play that's going to take place at the Alberta School of Performing Arts, and that's going to take place. You can still get advance tickets for $15. Once again, you can get those advance tickets for $15. Miss Sean D. Moore, you can cash out for her, and it's money sign Shawana D. Moore, and that's her cash app. If you want to send and get your advance tickets, and they will have your name at the table when you get there. And they do have Eventbrite set up also. I got to get that information about Eventbrite, but that's from August the 20th. Also, our very own Miss Tina Sanders she's hosting an event that's coming up in September, and I didn't know she really wanted to announce it too early, but it's an event taking place September the 10th, real soon. So wait till we're gonna have her on the program. Then the Gospel Explosion 2022 celebration is taking place on September the 25th. So we'll have that also brought up more here on the program also. So food truck and business vendors are needed with table and tents, $50 without, $25. You can contact Miss Joya Venice France. That number is 205-499-2468. My Midas Touch LLC presents Gospel Explosion 2022 celebration. That's going to be held at the Harmonfield Park. That's what we used to call it. They called it Harmon Park, 2901 Greensboro Avenue here in Tuscaloosa. So a lot of updates coming. Let's see.
Hey, Daryl, on that, as far as that gospel explosion, also, I was talking to Joy Franklin. She was saying that they still need some. Uh, uh, if you have a church group or a church choir or a singing group that wants to be a part of the gospel explosion, get in touch with her as well. And you'll be able to be involved in the gospel explosion.
Okay.
Singing wise.
So you're still seeking artists or
Yes.
gospel groups. Okay.
I thought I was gonna tell you because I've been hearing that you ready to get your solo on.
I don't know if I'm ready yet, but we might go and break it on out, man. I don't know yet. Might break one on out. And Veronica passed on some information. Veronica passed me some information about the Veterans Legal Help Desk every first Wednesday every month from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And I think that's at the Tuscaloosa VA Medical Center. And she passed that along to me. So we got some upcoming guests, and we got some upcoming events that's taking place here in our local community, and a whole lot of other stuff coming up. Also, don't forget Next Step Fitness takes place at Greater Faith Church here in Mountville, 16356. 16357 Highway 69 in Mountville, Alabama. It's every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and it's $10 per session. Okay, so I'm gonna take a quick commercial break, and we'll have our guests come on, and then we'll be pretty much ready to start the conversation. And don't forget, Aliceville Police Department is still hiring. They're still recruiting police officers. If you know anyone that's interested in the law enforcement field, to get in contact with Aliceville Police Department. They can get the information off the flyer, or you can inbox me and I'll send it to you. So we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back, y'all.
Hello? Hey, Rick. I had to call you to tell you that the food that you brought to the party last night was wonderful. It made me think about my grandmother's cooking. Where did you get that food, brother?
I went down to Thomas' Rib Shack to pick up the ribs, but when I got there, I seen that they had more than just ribs. I seen baked chicken, fried chicken, corn muffins, vegetables, apple pie, peach pie, and I looked around and I seen a sign that told me that they got chitlins and oxtails on Sunday. All I can tell you, go down to 2931 15th Street or just give them a call like I did at area code 205-759-5010. Thomas Rib Shack, Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Get your event jumping with Caroline Shines and Impulse Band. Impulse Band has been together for over 7 years, and they haven't missed a beat yet. The band has and will play in various venues and doesn't mind traveling to you. Being led by Alabama Blues Hall of Famer herself, Mrs. Caroline Shine. Impulse has opened up for Bobby Rush, L.J. Eccles, Tank, Fantasia, Calvin Richardson, just to name a few. The Impulse Band will surely fit your need for entertainment. Dial 205-887-6859 or 205-887-5026. Or you can just email them at shinesbrightly@yahoo.com. Caroline Shines and Impulse, the band made just for you.
Well, we're back. We took a quick short break. Gonna have Mr. Reginald Turner join in with us, give us a little bit more in depth. The number again, once again, 205-310-6067 or 826-7661. That'll get you in contact with us before our insurance guests come on the program, unless she's already chimed in. Let's see. Yeah, Mr. Turner wanted to go ahead and remind everybody about the upcoming event that's going to take place. You can call in now, Mr. Turner, if you would like to. Go ahead and call in right now. We're back on the air. Give him a few seconds to get situated. Who was it that asked? Go ahead, Mike.
No, I just want to say I'm actually looking forward to Saturday because I'm planning on being out there. I know the confusion was at 10:30, but now they saying more like 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock.
I'm still gonna try to get there at 10:30 to make sure that I'm able. I'm trying to get there early anyway because I don't want to be bumping into folks. I got to kind of find my spot and get out the way.
I got you.
But I wasn't able to attend the one that Lala had with the Juneteenth celebration.
Mm-hmm.
And so any one of these that we have. Oh, hold on, I got a call. Hey, Daryl, we got Mr. Turner on with us.
Okay, how you doing, sir?
How you doing, Mr. McKenzie? How y'all doing this evening?
Great.
Doing well.
Hi, Mr. Turner.
Hello, how are you?
Doing good.
Oh, that's a blessing.
Talk to him again. Let him know what's coming up on this coming Saturday at the Northport Community Community Center.
Yes. This Saturday at 11 o'clock, we will be at the Northport Community Center talking about finances, how to get out of debt, how to stay out of debt, how to outpace inflation, how to get your credit scores up, how to open a private reserve account. We will be talking about all that this Saturday because we know a lot of people are going through now, and a lot of people made some bad choices in life, and the credit kind of got messed up. So we should helping people get out of debt and help them get their credit scores up so they can, refinance and get them in a home, get them in a car, some of those things that they need. And they've been kind of held back because of debt and taxes and inflation. And as you can see today, everything is wide open and sky high.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll be showing people how to win at the money game. I think that's something that we all need to learn how to win it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I also like to say, they don't have to wait to Saturday. If they need to get their credit scores up, if they want to make some extra income, they can contact me today. They can contact me now. Okay. How would they contact you right now? Well, now, my number is area code 205-207-9998.
Once again, get that number one more time.
That's area code 205-207-9998.
Okay, I'll post that on there later. Is it on the flyer that we're showing? I don't see it. I just see a www financial thing website. I guess that relates to you.
Yeah, I think that the website might be on there. I don't know if my number was on there or not. Your website? You want to tell everybody your website just to be on the safe side? Yeah, that website is mwrfinancial.com/T Reginald. That's mwrfinancial.com/T Reginald.
Okay.
All right.
Gotcha.
So that is at 11 o'clock. The door open at 11 o'clock. Northport Community Center. That is the little building over there, like real close to the Jet Pep gas station. Yes. And the actual event starts at 11:30. Is that correct? Yes. Yes, it starts at 11 o'clock sharp.
Okay, so you're gonna open the doors at 10:30 and start at 11.
Excuse me, sir.
You're gonna open the doors at 10:30 and start at 11. I'm just trying to make sure we get
Yes,
in.
we will be getting in there about 10 o'clock, and we'll get set up, and we'll get started at promptly at 11 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, we appreciate it. We do have a guest gonna come on with us talking about life insurance and other things. So if you want to stay on and listen to us, you can. We got another guest coming on very shortly, Mrs.Aleccina Jackson. So just want
definitely. I would love to stay on and listen in because we need life insurance.
Yes. I ain't gonna keep saying it, but we can't keep passing the plate around and doing the fish fries and doing
That's right.
the
That's
things
so true.
to help
That's so true.
putting our
And
love.
I just want to.
Putting our
I
love.
guess I want to appreciate y'all for letting me coming on and telling about the event that's coming up this Saturday.
Oh, no problem. No problem. Anything that's beneficial to the community, we always want to make sure they know about it. If we know about it, they will know about it. So anything that's beneficial to the community, we're always open
Yes, sir.
to let people know about it.
Yes, sir. That's it. That's a blessing, man.
Now you're out of where you out of? You're in Tuscaloosa, or you from out of town?
I live in Brent.
Okay. Brent, Alabama. Okay.
Yeah, I used to live in Tuscaloosa, but right now I'm living in Brent right now.
Gotcha. Okay. I want to say hello to Miss Betty Hopkins. How you doing? Thanks for chiming in. We're talking about life insurance shortly. We have a guest on the program. She'll be on with us in just a moment. We're going to be talking about not just life insurance, but she has a whole shebang that she's going to talk to us about. I just didn't want to give away all of the information, but we will have her on the program in just a moment. Hopefully she'll be calling in a little earlier. I told her 8:30. We normally get carried away sometime and during our 8 to 8:30 segment, so I figured just give it a few more minutes. A lot been going on. Oh, want to announce parents that got kids going back to school, county and city. Everybody's not going to be on free lunch this year. So you need to go ahead and apply for your kids. I guess they're taking the applications early for the free lunch and the reduced lunch. From my understanding, the prices have went up for lunch at the school, so you might want to look into it or call your city school board representative or check on the website. I guess I might can check on the website right quick. But yeah, no more free lunches, for everybody. It was free lunches for everybody for a great amount of time, during the COVID and other things also.
I think they tried to expand that this year, but it didn't pass. But they expanded it for those who needed it, but the ones who went in any I guess they say financial hardships, like they didn't lose jobs, they didn't get laid off or anything to that aspect. Uh they're gonna actually make you pay what you're supposed to. So I think it goes back now to your annual income or something to that aspect. If I heard that formula right.
Well, all I know
So
is
basically, are they just going back to pre-pandemic status? If you apply, and then those who qualify for free get free, qualify for reduce, and who doesn't qualify for either, they have to pay. Is it just like pre-pandemic?
yep, going back to
Yeah.
pre-pandemic situation.
The same thing, is a you want to get back to normal, and this part of it. So, um, even though we having an uptick in COVID cases here but actually the whole country is having an uptick in COVID cases again, and that is as dangerous as it was last year at this time, but it's still starting to creep up a little bit. I think it said 22% since last week there.
It's 26% increase
26,
from the last 2 weeks.
26% increase here.
This last week was, well, as of yesterday, yeah.
Well, Betty Hawkins says she and already filled out her granddaughter meal paperwork out online. So, Tuscaloosa County school system is encouraging families to apply for assistance as their schools prepare to return to charging for meals at a higher price than before. In a Friday release, the district pointed to the end of federal funding that provided free meals for students during the COVID-19 pandemic. The announcement comes after families of several schools in Tuscaloosa City School District received notice to apply for similar benefits in late June. There are around 20,000 students at 34 schools in the county system. Tuscaloosa City County school system said families will also required to pay more than they have before for student meals for the upcoming school year due to the increase in food costs since 2019-2020 school year. Prices for meal for 2022-23 school meal. Faculty lunch is $4.10. Elementary school lunch is $2.90. Intermediate and middle school lunch is $3.20. High school lunch is $3.20. Visiting adult lunch $4.25. Faculty breakfast $1.75. Elementary school breakfast $1.50. Intermediate middle school breakfast $1.50, high school $1.50, and visiting adult breakfast is $2. Students who qualify reduced price meals will not face an increase, with breakfast remaining at 30 cents and lunch at 40 cents. Through the community eligibility provision, a federal program that provides meals to students at no charge who lives in areas that meet certain economic requirements, the following schools will continue to receive free meals: Crestmont Elementary, Holt Elementary, Matthew Elementary, Lloyd Wood Education Center. Parents are encouraged by the district to apply for meal benefits by visiting www.myschoolapps.com. www.myschoolapps.com. And that's through Tuscaloosa County. So I will bring up the information for Tuscaloosa City later on. Mike have a guest chimed in yet? I don't know. I haven't seen her pop. I gave her an option. She can call in or come, join in through the
Not,
Zoom.
not as of yet.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, just 8:31. So we'll see in a second. We'll see in a second.
What's so sad about this country is that when people are in times of hardships or crisis,
Mm-hmm.
they struggle and they fight and they pull, that they do all they can to not give you a break. And when they do give you a little bit of relief, and it was a blessing no matter what it was, but for some people, it wasn't a relief. For some people, it paid their rent 1 month and their car note, or their rent and their utilities. And when you're trying to get climbed back up, at least to what you were pre all this happening, they do all they can to rip it and strip it back. I've never seen them. People, I don't know why people, there's so much in numbers, and we never just call out the government. We never call out not only the government, but these companies, because these people are monkey see, monkey do. If they getting away with raising it because of inflation, because we do know that inflation exists, and from time to time, there are times when it skyrockets. But they pretty much now on if I can do it, we're gonna do it. Even down to the government. I mean, and then they say it just is what it is. So that's just how it is. But what real reason do we have for the gas prices besides the war, which really isn't quite affecting gas prices like previous wars have?
Right. I think
It's
it's
almost like to make sure that the working remain working class or even tumble to poor. But it's to make sure that nobody who's working class, in my opinion, climbs up. And maybe even some of those who are kind of well off. Well, if y'all end up having to fall into the middle class, oh well.
yes, ma'am.
Because I don't care what anybody says. Nobody around here is rich, or like some people like that, like, and maybe they do, some of them, but most people are check to check and maybe have a little bit of savings. And their savings is to a point where they don't want to let it be wiped out because they're having to deal with inflation and the cost of everything going up. What about some of those working class parents who did save a little bit, but now when they apply, they may fall into the reduced lunch percentage. So that means they have to find something every day, money every day to give to their children. And before people start talking about they make money or they have money for this, that, and the other, don't say that, because when it comes to these gas pumps, y'all don't say y'all find money for this, that, and the other.
Hmm.
And I sometimes feel like it's power in numbers. Just for all those people who end up having to pay, maybe they should just do what they can and send their lunches to school. Now, if kids have their resources and they can buy something a little extra, fine. But sometimes you don't do it because you can. You do it to make a point. You do it to help your brother, your sister. Maybe I can do it every day, but these five can't. So what we all need to do, and because that free lunch, that the schools, the money that they get from the government is also dependent on how many free lunches
Right.
and all this kind of stuff. So how about everybody just take their lunch in? They feel like, that because some of these people that they're charging really just probably need to be in the free lunch category. It's just like when you get EBT or food stamps. You make a penny or a dollar over, or your gross may qualify, but what you bring home may be a little bit too much. You're right down the line and you can't get anything. They're right down the line and they have to pay for lunch. Because I know there has to be a cutoff. But I'm just saying, if somebody whose parents make $1,000 a month is free, then this other person, they turn their application in and it ended up being 115, $1,015.
Hmm.
It's just like, I don't know. And I don't think it's because people don't want to help each other. I just think people are so busy trying to make sure that they can make it that they don't really have time to focus on sometimes like combining and helping each other.
I think it's a really good idea to actually do that, considering how a lot of times the kids are not really into the food that they're preparing at the school
Anyway.
anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But then I think that we run into the problem of them not wanting them to have
To bring it in.
that we could bring in
Mm-hmm.
because they're considered not to be healthy or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say in was it 2016 they came up with that health food initiative to go into the schools and the school.
But then they got upset with Obama, First Lady Obama about that. Got upset because she wanted to do a health food initiative.
Yeah, I was just gonna say they did. And I have when like some folks were like, hey, they can't have fried chicken in the schools anymore. They can't have when we went to school, they had the rectangular pizzas. What they were sausage, I think. I don't even know what meat it was. It was. We just know when we had it, we was happy. And if I'm not mistaken, they can't have those cookies and cinnamon rolls that we talked so much about when we were going to school. They can't have any of that stuff in there now because of that initiative, and that was the stuff that they were complaining about.
But some of that fell to the wayside, I think, if I'm not mistaken, some schools that something happened with that everybody, that everybody's not subscribing to that. Everybody's not doing that anymore, I don't think. But my thing is, Mike, like you said, they complained about that. These same people who felt like then, well, they should be able to have whatever. Well, if there's people sending their kids to school with lunch, then the same ones who fought the initiative, the healthy initiative, would then say, well, no, they need to be eating a little bit healthier. Because when during our times when we were in school, did they not want us to eat healthy? I remember the cafeteria lady saying, get that vegetable. You might not eat it, but I got to make sure you get two. Yeah. And so what Michelle Obama did was just, basically they went through and they just wiped out these menus. You got to get better menus. And they complained. But right now, if people say, well, okay, we're going to send what we can because we haven't paid and we're struggling, so we're going to send what we can because it's better than just paying. Because let's think about, like, somebody like me, I'm like, okay, well, I know my child don't want to eat this, I'm going to prepare 2 meals. Monday, Tuesday, they're going to eat this. Wednesday, Thursday, they're going to eat this. And then maybe Friday, I let them pay or do whatever. Do you know those same people who complained about the healthy initiative would then say, you're letting them have too much. It's just too much. It's going to do whatever it is to benefit them. It's going to be whatever it is to benefit the higher powers. It's not going to be what it is to benefit the people who are having to deal with it. Because those same people who were against that, if we now say, well, okay, we're going to send them, it's just like you said, they're going to say, well, you can't send this and you can't bring that.
Mr. Turner, you still on the line with us? I thought you were still online with us. I was going to ask him, how do you think that financially someone who is struggling with that might be on reduced or free lunches, how they could better their financial situation? What are some of the things that he would recommend to them if he was still on the line? But yeah, in a community situation like that, I do think that if we were able to help out each other, it's some people out there that make plates all the time, and if to make a plate for the students at a weekly price, I would say that would be cheaper than them trying to scrounge up what's that 40 cents is it 40 cents a day for a reduced lunch person.
Yeah, I think it was 40
And believe it or
cents.
not, that might be difficult for some people to come up with on a daily basis.
Well, you got to come up with 70 cents because it's here's my thing. So the school system, from my understanding, some kind of way with the state, and they were eligible for the food stamp card, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why can't the schools accept EBT cards to pay for this lunch? It's going toward food.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand it either. If you can order off, well, I know at one time you could order off Amazon with EBT. So,
I mean, that's just a question of mine because, and to protect the privacy, if the parent or if the parents wanted to do it online, all they have to do is put in the card number. Don't you think they can set it up where the card number can be put in, and the funds is automatically withdrawn, just like a Visa card or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's another good option. Also, there that will actually help a lot of people out because you have people that have EBT codes on a monthly basis, and that can go toward helping feed their kids when they're in school.
Absolutely correct.
But the problem is that we still have a lot of kids that don't eat until they actually get to school.
Well, that's they serve breakfast. They still serve breakfast. I just think utilizing the SNAP or whatever they call the program. I'm used to calling it food stamp. That's what we call it, but I think they call it snaps or EBT, whatever. I think if the child and this probably gonna be the thin line between reduce and free. You might have some parents that making just enough to, working and making just enough to be on reduce, but they also making enough to qualify for, a certain amount of food stamp. And this will help them out by giving them an opportunity to, pay for their kids' daily lunch. Like I said, it really adds up about 70 cents a day, $5, right at $5 a week, $20 a month. So you multiply that $20 a month times 9 months. What is it? $180. So if they want to go ahead and take care of it for the year, they probably could. But I hear our guest is on the phone with us now. I mean, on the air with us. How you doing? How you doing, Miss Jackson?
Good evening, good evening, good evening. How are you all doing today?
Good, good, good. We're gonna
Good, good, Miss Jackson. How you doing?
we're gonna bring
Good.
you up with us. Hold on, I got your flyer here. We're gonna bring you on with us so people can see who our guest is tonight. There she is, Miss Jackson. She's the our life insurance coach personnel tonight. She's gonna talk to us about insurance, life insurance, retirement. I'm just gonna turn it over to you, and you can tell a little bit about yourself and what you have to offer and what the people need to know. And then
Thank
we'll
you.
take questions after that.
I also want to say thank you, first of all, for having me on tonight. Um, my name is Alicina Jackson. I am an independent life agent. I am brokered through World Financial Group. I do all types of policies for life insurance. I just wanted to be able to come on and give an insight about life insurance. Um, we have been taught over the past that life insurance is basically just for when someone passes, and that is not the case. That's been instilled in us. But life insurance can benefit you while you're living as well. And most people do get different types of life insurance because they have an agent that may sell them a policy. And most of us don't take the time to read and learn about our policy and how would it benefit you. So I just want to come on tonight and say, give you an insight of the different policies that are offered. Um, one being a term life policy, a whole life policy, and an index universal life policy. A term policy, most people get it because of the convenience of the pay for it. But what everybody doesn't know, when you do apply for a life insurance policy, all policies are based on your health and your age. Your health and age plays a integrity role in what you're going to receive. And most people wait till later in life to get it. Another note is to make most people say, I have insurance on my job. Yeah, you have insurance on your job, but if you left your job or you retire, most job benefits, you lose them. So it's best to have a policy outside of your work because if you lose your job or you get ill, you can't carry it with you with most jobs. Back to the term policy. Term policy is a short term policy. The max amount of years that policy will last is 30 years. You will have to renew in 30 years. If you're the age of 40, you're going to have that policy and you're going to pay that same amount for 30 years. By the time you get the age of 70, they're going to renew you based on your health and your age. And you may pay 3 times or 4 times more than what you're already paying, depending on your health or your age. Or they may not renew you at all, depending on what type of health issue you may have. Whole life all policies are good. Whole life is a policy that you will have. For example, I had a whole life policy with Alpha. I went with Alpha because they were a well-known company. I got $50,000. I was paying a decent amount, but what I didn't know, it didn't benefit me. It will only benefit me if I was deceased for my family. It would not cover my expenses if something happened to me, for one. And for two, if I had that policy for a long period of time and I have built up cash value and something happened to me, the only thing that my spouse and family would receive is what I insured, which would have been the $50,000. So if I had $20,000 cash value in that policy, the insurance company gets the 20,000. All my family would get was the 50,000. Most people don't know that. If
Okay,
you
hold, say that again now. I think I got mixed up on that part.
okay, on a whole life policy,
Mm-hmm.
for example, I have a $50,000 policy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, say I've had this policy for 30 years and I have a $50,000 policy and I've built up cash value in that policy. Say I have $20,000 cash value in that policy. I can use that cash value while I'm living. I can borrow from it, but the insurance company expects you to pay it back.
Mm-hmm.
In the event you do not pay that $20,000 back before your life expires, they're going to say if something happens to you and your policy is only worth 50,000, they're going to take that 20,000 from that 50,000.
Okay. Okay.
So all your family is going to get is 30,000.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay.
So it's a benefit to a whole life and it's a disadvantage as well. It just depends on what your life expiration, what your family members will have to do for you after you deceased.
So before you move on, do you want us to ask questions in between or afterwards?
Yes. If
In
they have any
between?
questions about a term or whole life.
Okay. So whole life. If the you have the $50,000 and you borrow, is it approved by credit or is it approved based on the amount of the insurance you have invested in the company?
You put in a request. It is actually your money while you're living. You have to put in a request to your insurance company that you would like to take a loan out on your life insurance cash value. Depending on that amount, they would determine how much you can borrow from it.
Okay, okay. Because I didn't want people to think, okay, if you go out and get a $50,000 life insurance policy and you've been in it for a year or 2 years, that you can't, you think you can go just borrow $20,000 against a life
Oh
insurance
no.
policy. I just want to
Each
make sure we was clear on that part.
each year you will get a statement and
Mm-hmm.
it's going to tell you, even when you get your policy, it's going to tell you how much cash value you're going to build each year. So it depends on how much you're paying, what your health rating was. That is a huge factor of how much cash value you will build. And it's not that much. You have to have your policy for a long, extended period of time to have a large sum of cash value with the whole life.
Right, right. Okay. And with the term policy, and I mentioned a couple shows ago that when I was a police officer, I had invested in a large uh, 20-year term policy based on high risk type job, good health, cheap price of insurance. But
Mhm.
as time went by, the 20 years went by, time to renew. Of course, there was a little bit more increase in the rate, but there was nothing to go along with it. It was just, hey, you just pretty much betting that you was, if something just so happened to happen within those 20 years, then the $500,000 would have been beneficiary to your family. But
That's correct.
since nothing didn't happen, well, the money just went to the insurance company. I mean, there
It,
was no cash value, no nothing other than if you want to renew it at another higher rate and you qualify, then you could do it that way.
you are exactly correct.
Okay.
Term policy is beneficial, and most people get it because it's less expensive than any other policy. It is beneficial if something happens to you, and you can get a large sum amount based on your health and your age. But as you age and have to renew that policy, it's going to go up. And all the money that you have invested in a term policy, it goes to the insurance company. If nothing ever happens to you while you have that term policy, unfortunately, yeah, you just pay just like you do your car insurance. If you never have a car accident and you pay every insurance every month, it's the same thing.
Yes. So let me ask you on term, is it, say for example, I got a term life policy, but I also have a 16-year-old. Is that 60-year-old automatically put on as a rider, or could you say I got a 16-year-old son that's been hard headed, and I want to put a $500,000 term policy on him? Is that possible to do it that way, or is it a certain age that they must be a rider under the parent?
They can be a rider under the parent up until the age. Most insurance company is up to the age of 26 if they are still in college. Otherwise, they may take that rider off at the age of 18.
Okay. So at 18, I can say I want Ray Ray on his own $500,000 policy, and long as it's being paid for, it's taken care of, and just so happened between 18 and say it's a 20-year or 30-year policy between 18 and 48, something just so happened to happen, then I am the beneficiary of that particular policy. That's correct.
You have to be listed as a beneficiary on
Right.
all insurance policy. On all insurance policy, you have to list the beneficiary. In the event, my what I tell my clients, I will list a beneficiary, but I will also list a contingent beneficiary because most people forget that they have a person on their policy. If they expire before you and you never go back and change it, it's going to be hard for your family members to retrieve that money
Mm.
unless you are a spouse.
So that word contingent beneficiary, is that told or that's something you have to ask for?
Well, it depends on your agent.
Okay.
I am an agent that I give you all your options, and it is totally up to you. Once you're doing the policy, if you don't know insurance and don't know what questions to ask, a lot of agents, some agents may not provide that information to you.
And when you say this money goes to the insurance company, you mean actually, say for example, two parents, both of them deceased, the insurance policy paid, let's say, just natural causes, and the husband expired before the wife, and he was the beneficiary. Would the insurance pay for the burial of the wife, or do the insurance company just keep that money?
It can go to an estate if your spouse can prove that she is indeed your spouse. there are options for her to retrieve that money, but it is a process.
Well, I'm saying, for example, say they forgot to change the beneficiary, so one of the spouses expired, and
Hmm.
the other spouse then expire, and there's an insurance policy on that particular spouse, but the policy say the family only want to do a $5,000 insurance burial with the insurance, and the policy is for 20,000. So do the insurance company pay just the 5,000 for the burial and keep the 15,000?
No, that's not the case.
Okay.
If the policy is still being paid and the beneficiary, both beneficiaries have been expired,
Mm-hmm.
if you do not list a contingent beneficiary, it then goes, some policy, it depends on the insurance company, will go to an estate.
Mm.
The children will have to go through a process to retrieve that money for them to receive it. Whether the policy was 5,000, whether the policy was 50,000, it will be a process for them to retrieve that money.
So what?
I'm sorry. Hold on. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Typically, okay, what if you are a person that are trying to get life insurance now, and you have some health problems? Which how would you, I guess, advise them into a term or a whole life policy?
If someone has health issues at this time, I'm sorry, I'm moving around out of my office
Okay.
because my phone is about to go dead. So I'm trying to get to my charge, back to my charger.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm sorry. Um, if you are at an age now and you have health issues, those applications have specific information that will ask about specific health conditions. When we do a policy, it may ask, have in the last 5 years, have you had coronary heart disease? Um, have you had a stroke? Or it asks you about specific um, diseases, specific health conditions. That determines whether or not you get approved for that policy. If you get approved with a health condition, it's going to be extremely high.
You use that word if. So, person with high blood
For
pressure.
example, I'm going to give you an example. Someone with cancer or lupus will have a hard time getting a policy
I
if
know.
they, they don't already have a policy.
So let me ask you this: if that's the case, and those person die, how are they put away?
Um, Most people you would see post a GoFundMe account if they don't have a family member who is able or financially able to assist. Um, a lot of people I try to reach out to based by word of mouth, advertisement. I do have seminars, but most people feel like life insurance is just for death and they don't be proactive. And most people, for the lack of knowledge, have to be reactive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it is sad to an extent. Um, but I would rather you have a policy, whether it's a term, whole life, or index universal life, have something in place if something wishes to happen to you.
Okay. So go ahead.
You spoke of the index universal. What is that?
Great question. An index universal life policy is a policy that builds cash value over the course of the years. Your cash value that you build, you're able to retrieve that cash value because it's within a insurance policy called the index universal life. When you get ready to take out but it does take over the years for it to build. And it depends on the amount of money that you put into it. You can use that cash value for life benefits, living benefits, or college funds, or for retirement. When you get ready to pull your cash value out for any reason, there's no penalties and no taxes.
Hmm.
That's the
Me
IUL
personally,
we was talking about last week, right?
is
I
there a
hear you.
question?
Go ahead, Miss Porter.
That was the IUL we was talking about
Yes.
last week, right?
Yes, it's the Index Universal Life.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the compound interest you earn on per
Correct.
dollar you put into it. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. So that's
When
Is that
called.
one as difficult to get as well as the term life or the whole life if you have pre-existing condition?
I can't hear you, sweetheart.
I'm sorry, is that one going to be as difficult to receive as a term life or a whole life with people with pre-existing conditions?
It is. Index Universal Life, you have to be approved for it. And it does solely based on your health and your age. And you have to have it for it to benefit you. You would need to have that policy for a minimum of 15 years.
Hmm. So that's another one that you need to start, I guess, at a younger age.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I
yeah, it is.
encourage a lot of parents. I don't care if it's a $40 policy. You can get 100,000, 200,000 policy for a small amount as $40 or $50 based on that child at that time. Most children do not have health conditions, but a lot of people have not been taught or because they don't know about it and they don't take the time to know about it, we get left behind.
Yeah, we know that. We got 10 people on. That's a good number, including us. So it is some people that's interested in insurance. And if anyone want to call in that has questions, please do. Don't hesitate. You don't have to give your name. You can just ask your question. If you need to get in contact with Miss Jackson, we're gonna post the information to get in touch with her. Now, is it a particular agency that you work for, or do you just? I think I've seen where some companies are now going to. Now I'm gonna just use NW for example. From my understanding, they research the best policy for you from various insurance companies.
I am an independent life insurance agent, but I am brokered through World Financial Group.
Okay.
We have 85 plus companies, and I will find the best company that's going to fit your situation based on your health and your age.
Okay. One we got a comment here. She said, talk about how insurance company access your health records via electronic medical data. Insurance company have access to your pharmacy visits and which meds you were prescribed and why you were prescribed the medication.
When we do a life insurance policy, it is one of the questions that you provide your provider, which is your doctor's name, address, and phone number. They do send a request to get your medical records. So most companies will base that off of what is provided to them. If you have had an insurance policy before, the insurance company, they talk to each other. So your information is already in a database if you've had an insurance policy before.
Mm-hmm.
Even if your provider or your doctor does not respond and you've had a policy before, your information is basically in the system already.
Ms. Jackson, how many different well, say for example someone had five different insurance policies
Mhm.
and something happened. Do all five of those insurance policies pay or have to pay?
Yes.
Okay. So you can
If you
get
got If you got three different policies with three different insurance companies, as long as you have paid your premium and you have a listed beneficiary, they will pay them out.
Okay. I always thought it was just a certain amount that we're gonna pay, but as long as it's
No.
just with different ones, you can. Well, good.
But I will tell you, when you do different policies, for example, you have three policies now, and you wish to request a individual index universal life policy. One of the questions are, do you have other life insurance? If you have other life insurance, you have to answer the question. You're supposed to answer the question yes. And then they go into asking you how much those policies are and who they're with. If you do not provide that information and they run your application through the system and it shows that you have other life insurance, they can deny you because you did not provide that information.
So it's kind of like you told a lie on your application.
Exactly.
So let's talk about this index universal life insurance a little bit more. I'm trying to get more of an understanding about it. Um, if since now, is it based on credit or is it based on your health?
It is not based on your credit, it is solely based on your health and your age.
Okay.
The index universal life. The younger you are, the healthier you are, most likely you're going to get approved. Once you turn the age of 18, say, for me, example, I have one on my son. I'm the owner because he's a minor. But once he turns the age of 18, he will have to put that policy in his name. And I can still be the payer for it to pay the policy, and I can still be listed as the beneficiary, but it has to come from him because he's of age at that point.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And
Now, in the index universal life, because they are a minor, and say you've put $300 a month and the cash value has built over the last 10 years, and say you have $36,000 in there, so you want to buy your son a car for his 16th birthday, you can pull that money out with no penalties and taxes. You don't have to pay it back. There's no penalties or taxes for it because you're the payer at that time. You're the owner of the policy, so you have that right to pull that money out. But once they turn 18, that policy is then turned over to them. You can still be the payer to pay to make sure it's paid, and you can still be the beneficiary. But they have to list you as the beneficiary.
but then that person has the right to say if he want to buy his own self a car, he can cash it out, and I can't say a word about it.
Exactly.
So uh, let's just say it's 36,000. He want to go buy a car, which 25, 28,000, and uh, so that whatever's left in there is that used toward the burial if we stop paying or
No, that cash value is additional to the life insurance.
okay.
Let me go back and let me reiterate this.
Yes.
For example, my son, I have $180,000 policy based on the amount that I pay into that policy. By the time he's 65, he can have $250,000 of cash value, but he's still gonna have that $180,000 life insurance.
Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha.
But mind you, he can use that cash value for anything. It's not just for life insurance. That is the cash value. That's why it's called Index Universal Life, because you can
It's
use it.
almost like a savings account being right
That's what it
for
sounds
the
like.
insurance
Exactly.
firm.
Yes.
That's what it
And
sounds
one
like.
thing about it, it cap off at 15%, and the minimum is 5%. If the stock market goes up or it goes down, your rate is already locked in. You won't lose any money. It's not like the stock market, like 401k. If the stock market go down, your money go down. But with the index universal life, because it is in a insurance policy, you will not lose any money.
Okay, so now here's the question. If that's the case, why people are not taking their full ones and putting it into that where they won't be penalized?
When I do
Just so y'all know,
seminars,
right? There has
this
to
when I
be
do
like
seminars,
you have to be a different
I
color
teach
too.
that.
You
I
know.
show a graph that shows what happens when you turn 59 and a half with a 401k.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't gonna get penalized. If you're gonna get penalized if you take out any money before you're 59 and a half.
That's correct.
But once you turn 59 and a half, you're not gonna get penalized. But you're gonna still have those federal and state taxes.
Mm-hmm.
But if you put your money in an index universal life, you can take your money out and there's no penalties or no taxes because it's in a life insurance policy.
So let me ask this question, and this is personal. so so say I turn 59 and a half and I want to transfer from the bank account to the universal life, and am I going to be taxed from the government then at that point because I took it out of the bank into the universal?
You will be taxed because you're taking it out of your 401k.
Gotcha.
Now, you can do an annuity. If you're not familiar with annuity, you can transfer into an annuity if you like. But there are different policies and procedures for annuity depending on the amount that you're going to transfer to an annuity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I read a little bit about that. So I guess the next question I need to pass on to some of my friends that are getting ready to retire. For example, they're on a pension. And,
Hmm.
when you're in the pension, they say, okay, you got to take this money and put it somewhere
Hmm.
uh, until you turn 59 and a half. A lot of my friends are going to be 56, 57, when they're getting ready to retire. Still got to wait to get the benefits with that. So it's like you're almost pressured to put it into that account, but no one never gives you the option to say you can put it in an index universal life insurance.
No. And most people, the older you are, the more you're going to have to invest in the index universal life. I'm 45, so I put a substantial amount in an index universal life so that I can have a significant amount of money once I decide to retire at the age of 59 and a half or 60 or whenever I plan to retire. I put most of my money in the index universal life instead of a 401k.
Okay.
Now, the difference is a lot of people like to move their money when they get ready to retire and put it in a Roth account.
Okay.
Only difference with a Roth and a 401k, a Roth, they penalize you. They don't penalize you. They take your taxes up front.
Gotcha.
And a 401k, they don't take the taxes until the end. It's pre-taxed.
Gotcha. 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 This is the information that a lot of us need to know and don't get a chance to know. So like I said, I went through what you're talking about, and no one never said, "Hey, now instead of putting it into this bank account where you got to wait till you're 59 and a half, then you do have the option of putting it in an index universal." Never
Hmm.
said, no one never talked about it. But I guess the question about doing it that way, now I do know if, okay, even when I get 59 and a half, I still say I want to get 20,000 out. I still got to count that 20,000 towards my taxes at the end of the year for
Hmm.
my income. So in other words,
Hmm.
um, but if it had been in a universal, you're saying no taxes would have been.
No penalties, no taxes.
Wow. Wow.
Nope.
That's something I didn't know.
So,
And I
but
highly,
I'm sorry. Usually when you get a company and they go through your benefits package and they ask you about that life insurance they give you, they don't even bring up anything like that. So instead of going into a 401k, you can put that into that what y'all call
Index Universal.
index
yeah,
universal life.
you can Index universal. Yeah.
But now,
So you can
Mike, I think, but see, your job, you have to get to the retirement stage of your job first. Is that correct, Ms. Jackson?
You saying, okay, let me make sure, ask that question you're trying to ask me again.
I'm saying,
if I'm going into a job and
mhm,
go through the benefits package,
Hmm.
instead of putting my getting a 401k, we get that insurance policy instead. They offer me life insurance. I get that insurance policy instead. From the time that I'm beginning that job to the time I leave that job, is in the insurance policy. Um,
That is correct. But the thing is,
I will be able to
you
do
if
that.
you don't, okay, say I had a 401k. I'm gonna give you an example. You're putting 5% in your 401k.
mhm,
Mhm.
That same 5%, your job is not going to offer you a index universal life. Your
right,
job is going to offer you a insurance policy. But I work for the federal government. My life insurance is a term policy through the VA. Even though it's a term policy, because it's through a government agency, it does not expire unless I decide to leave. Most term policy you get outside of work, the maximum number of years you can get it is 30 years. Most jobs, when you leave, you can't take your insurance with you.
mm-mm,
If they allow you to take it with you, it's going to be extremely high. Now, if you start at a job and the minimum years you can have an index universal life is not going to benefit you if you don't have it to keep it for 15 years. And another thing I did not mention, you can stop paying at if you have a index universal policy on, say, I got it on my son. He can stop paying the way it's set up. He can stop paying that policy at the age of 65. As long as, and he can take his money out as long as he leaves 1 to 2% of that money in his cash value to carry his life insurance. If he got $250,000, as long as he leaves some cash value in there, and it's going to continue to grow, even if he took out 240,000, it's going to continue to carry his life insurance, and it's going to still continue to grow his cash value.
So, what percentage is this cash value? Does it varies or is it set
It
at
is
1%?
it varies. It can The minimum is the 5%, and it can go. It's capped at 15%.
Gotcha.
But the good thing about it, you cannot lose any money
Hmm.
as you do in your 401k.
So if a person has pre-existing conditions and they wanted to get in one of these policies, it will cost them more because of that pre-existing condition.
It depends on the pre-existing condition. It is not something that you can automatically get. It has to be approved, and it's based on your health condition and your age. Like, for example, if you've had a heart attack, they're not going to approve you for an index universal life. I'm just giving you an example of one of them.
Okay.
So you have to pretty much be pre-approved for that one.
Yes, you do have to be approved for it.
So let's talk about this retirement thing. I guess like I said, if anybody else have questions, you can call in. I just thought I'm trying to look out for myself right now.
You ain't the only one, Carol. I'm good. I'll take it all in.
So
Should I take it all in?
it's 59 and a half. This, like I said, and I guess it's time for people to do more seminars like you're doing with us right now. Because when you're young, you get on a job, you ain't thinking about the 30 years down the road that you've been involved in a job. And you, like I said, when they told me about, okay, you got to transfer this big lump sum of money, I had no idea what they was talking about, and they only gave me a short period of time to make it happen.
Yep.
And I'm calling on people that already done it, and they saying, "Well, I went here," and another one say I went there, but only if I knew I could have just transferred it to the universal index and wouldn't been penalized and didn't have to wait. Do you still have to wait till the 59 and a half? I guess that's the question next about the universal life.
Let me tell you that you can't just transfer it into an index universal life, Miss
Okay.
Dare. Okay?
Okay.
Because at retirement age, you have to be approved, still have to be approved,
Mm-hmm.
and you still have to have it for a minimum of 15 years for it to be a significant amount of cash value.
Okay. Okay. So in other words, somebody retired and said their 301 KO pension was 350,000, and they say, hey, and they 55. Let's just say you 52, 53 years old, and you say, hey, I want to get approved to see can I get a universal, and I want to put 350,000 in. That don't work that way.
Mm-mm.
Gotcha. Okay.
Now you can do an annuity and roll over and do an annuity. And what they do is take that money and they're going to break it up. And depending on the amount you put in, they're going to send you something like a check. It's just like you're receiving a retirement check every month. You can put it into an annuity and you can set it up where it can still grow, but it's still they'll send you can set it up and you may depend on how much you put in, you may get a $1,500 check every month over the course of the years. If
Mm-hmm.
something happened to you, you still have an option to leave whatever you have in there to your beneficiary.
I got you. I did talk to an agent, and he kind of went in depth explaining to me about the annuity. I'm just trying to. So in other words, this index universe is really for the young person that's coming up, uh, wanting to pay into something for him or her. For
No,
the
I'm not gonna say that because I haven't had mine but 3 years, and I just well I ain't gonna say I studied it a little bit more to find out how it would benefit me depending on how much money I put in. It's really based on how much money you put in to determine how much cash value you'll have within the next 15 years. It's going to give you a breakdown of how much cash value you have every single year, what you should have.
so I guess Mike is right. Then it's just pretty much like a savings account, pretty
It's
much.
a savings account, but I ain't gonna say a savings account because if you put your money in the bank, if you notice and look on your savings account statement,
Yeah,
Bank ain't even nothing.
they ain't give you but
they ain't giving you nothing.
it might give you 10 cents on a dollar. It
So
might.
I can't say
Yeah,
I'm
it take
not
you a
gonna
long time
say
to make the money out of this bank.
yes. That is absolutely correct.
But this
If
is
you put
fire.
your everybody said, well, I'm putting $100 in my savings every pay period. Yeah, you put it in your savings, but I want you to see how much it has grown over the last 30 days or the last 60 days
Yeah, as you look
versus.
at that $3. $3 is exactly what you're looking at. $3.
But people feel like because I'm saving, I got some money. But instead of you putting it in an index universal life or retirement, college fund, living benefits, it's beneficial to you. And we do have something called term LB. Term LB means term insurance with living benefits. That means you can be approved, but you do have to be approved for it. You can get a policy with living benefits. And if you get ill, you can use that policy, such as if you got cancer. You can use your life insurance to live off of. But it is a term LB policy that you have to be approved for, just like the Index Universal Life.
Lump sums of money people getting, uh, or had, or was having. Uh, I guess what would be, let's just say the people that was getting the $20,000 PPP loan. What could they have done differently rather than putting it on rims and tires and stereos and hair and shoes and stuff? What could they have done differently?
I would have made at least an investment into the Index Universal Life policy.
Okay.
And if you pay it by the year instead of the month, it grows faster if you pay it like the yearly. If you do $100 a month, that's $1,200 a year. If you
Mm-hmm.
go ahead and pay it up for the whole year at the beginning of the year in January, your cash value builds faster versus you paying that $100 a month. It's an advantage to it either way, whether you pay it monthly or annually, and you don't get to lose no money. That's what people don't understand. With a 401k, there are penalties, there's taxes, and they're going to get it because of the index universal life, because it's inside within a universal life policy. They cannot charge you any penalties or taxes. I'm not sure if you all, I know it may be a lot of older people on here, but if you look and follow Walker Flocka, are y'all familiar with him?
I've heard of
Yeah,
it.
I know him. Yeah, I know him.
I follow him on TikTok, Instagram. If you watch him on TikTok, he talks about this very, very policy that he put his money into and invest. Why should he put it in the bank?
Correct. Why would you put it in the bank if you ain't
Why
getting
would you put?
1%?
He said I can go and pull it out, make an investment, put it back in there. It's a benefit.
Yeah, it
So
really
if
is.
you ever, if you get the opportunity to get on TikTok or just to follow him, follow Waka Flocka. He's one of the main ones that is real raw to give you what the Index Universal Life can do for you.
Hmm.
We still got Mr. Reginald Turner on the line. I was wondering what he thought about that. Uh, Mr. Turner, what do you think about the and I keep forgetting the name of it.
Universal.
Index Universal Life.
Yeah, Index Universal Life policies as an investment tool. Oh yeah, that sounds pretty good. I'm not familiar with that policy. I was just listening to her. She knows more about it than I do, and it sounds very interesting. It's something that I would invest in. But we also have something like that as well. We call it a private reserve account. and it is attached to the stock market, but it don't take any loss. When the stock market goes up, your money goes up. When the stock market comes down, it levels off, and you don't take any loss, and you can borrow against it. And say, for instance, you have $50,000 in this private reserve account, you need to take out 30. So your in the private reserve account, your account's still going to be uh, gaining interest if it had $50,000 in it.
Okay, can I ask you a question? Is that a
Yeah.
mutual savings? Is that a mutual savings policy?
Is it a mutual savings? Not to my knowledge. I don't know all the ins and outs about it, but no, I'm not aware if it's a mutual savings policy or not. I don't think so.
Okay, because most mutual savings policies, they don't gain any money. It's only the money that you put in there. A lot of people, there is one particular company. I won't say the company's name because I'm not one to bash.
Mm-hmm.
They get you to get a policy, which is a term policy for 30 years. But they also have you to put in a significant amount of money into a mutual savings fund. If you put in $500, just say $500, I've had clients to change and come to me to do the universal life because they were going to have more cash value. But if you're taking that $500 and you put it into a mutual savings fund, you're not gaining anything. All you are doing is saving your money that you have put into that account. Now, mind you, you may be able to afford the $500 now, but when life strikes and you can't put that $500,000 in anymore, what you do? With the universal life policy, it allows you to drop down to the minimum. You don't have to pay the max, where you can still pay your policy to keep your life insurance, but it will slow down your cash value. You can reduce your amount. With a mutual savings fund, you can't do that. I lost y'all. Hello.
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm still here. Yeah, I'm still here. Okay.
Okay, so I heard you say the word the minimum. What's the minimum that a person, I guess, has to put in the universal
It
index universal?
depends. It depends on the amount of life insurance you got. Say if you got a policy and you paying $50 a month. I got one person paying. Let me give you an example. I had a parent who had a index universal life policy. They wanted $100,000 policy. They only pay $50 into it to
Mm-hmm.
build the cash value. She was not able. She's capped out where she can put $465 a month. So she may do that for 12 months because she can afford it. But if need be, and she can't pay nothing, she can drop down to just keep the life insurance going. So she doesn't lose her life insurance, but she can, it won't build any cash value because she's not paying the minimum of $50. She can pay $26 to keep it going and keep it until she's able to go back to the minimum, which is $50 to build a cash value. You have a cap. This
Mm-hmm.
depends on the amount that you get in life insurance and the amount that you start with.
Gotcha. I understand now, cause I guess I didn't catch the word minimum at the beginning of it.
Hmm. You may have $100,000 policy on your child. You may be paying just $50 a month, but you have a cap that you can go up to, and it may be $450. If you want to pay that $450, say you call, we use Transamerica. You call Transamerica and you say, "Hey, I want to go. I want to cap out the amount that I can pay over the next 12 months. I want to do $465, which that's your cap out amount." You pay that $465 a month, your cash value is going to build significantly. If you see where you can't do it the next year, you can drop back down to the $50, or you can drop down to $200. It's totally up to you.
So a young lady, 26, with a 2-year old child, what will be your recommendation? Term, universal, or whole life?
It's based on what they're wanting. I encourage the index universal life, but I also encourage, we don't tell you what to get. We give you your options and you say which one is more beneficial to you. If you're trying to build cash value with no penalties and taxes, it's going to help you significantly. That's the index universal life. But you do have to get approved for it.
Gotcha. So,
Yeah, and it also depends on what they can afford. When I do an index universal policy, I ask, what is a comfortable amount that you can afford a month? Once you tell me what you can afford a month, what I do, I go in and I run the numbers, and it's going to tell me exactly how much life insurance you can get. That child, if that child is 2 years old, they may can get a $200,000 policy. If they have no health conditions, there's no issues, they haven't been hospitalized, but it all depends on what you can afford. I'm never going to indicate get an index universal life, pay $200 a month, because you may not can pay that $200 a month. You have to tell me what you can afford a month. You do have a cap. Once you start off, if you pay $100 a month, your cap may be at $550. You can always go up on that same policy and put that $550 in if you can afford it for the next 12 months. If you can't afford it the next 12 months after that, you can drop back down to the minimum.
once again, we're talking with is it Alencia?
Alicina.
Alecina Jackson, which is an independent insurance agent, and we wanting people to make contact with you. And if they want to make contact with you, they can call you at 205-886-1462. And you
That is
do,
correct.
so is this online? You talk to them, online or by phone or in person? You have an office?
I do not have an office. I have an office at my home, but we do Zoom. I can do it Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Most of my clients like to do Zoom, and I do face to face. I am a hands-on person. I like face to face because I like the interaction, but I can also do Zoom. So it's whatever is convenient for you.
So and I'm not gonna say the old concept. I'm gonna just say the idea of saying, okay, I want $100,000 on an insurance policy, and of course, unfortunately, something happened, and you cash in on that policy, and your insurance take care. I mean, your burial expenses, say 10,000. The $90,000 that's coming back to the beneficiary.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about taxes or
There's no
options.
taxes,
Okay, so
no
what's the
tax.
option? What's the option for a person that receiving $90,000 from an insurance policy?
There's no options. They get that $90,000.
Hmm.
You have the option to have the check sent to you, or you have the option to have it sent to the funeral home. That's totally up to you.
Now, what
I suggest
you don't want the insurance?
with my experience and my suggestion, I would highly recommend you have that beneficiary have the check sent to them, because a lot of
Funeral home.
I've seen, I ain't gonna say a lot of them. I've seen in the past when someone dies, someone loved one dies, that um burial that's being paid, most funeral homes, they're going to give you the most expensive package because they know how much money you're getting.
Yeah, but I used and then I guess to add to that, why would you want your your money that's due to you to go to somebody else for them?
But if they don't know that they can get that check, when you go to that funeral home and you call that funeral home and say, "Hey, my mother has passed. We want to utilize your services." They go pick up that body. They're gonna say, "Hey, how is this gonna be paid for? Do you have insurance?"
Hmm.
You say yes. You have the option. There is a form that you can fill out at the funeral home and they can receive the check to them. If you just have them, the insurance company say, "Hey," you call your insurance company, you say, "Hey, I want the check to come to me." But they're going to say, "Well, we got to call the funeral home to verify." They are not going to tell them how much your policy is. You have that advantage over them.
Okay,
But if you have that check to go to them, they know how much you have. Of course, I'm gonna tell you a casket costs $10,000.
gotcha.
Most people don't know that.
Next
Yeah,
question.
there's a lot of things that you're telling us tonight that a lot of people are not familiar with. And I appreciate you for coming on tonight, letting us know about the life insurance policy. That little tidbit about the funeral homes as well, because I personally didn't know anything about that as well. So I didn't either. That's this is a lot of information that I think that we in our community need to know about. Um, because a lot of folks just don't know where to go to ask these questions. I ask you once again to let us know how to get in touch with you. For those who are checking us out, they might want to get in touch with you and talk to you about getting a policy of some sort.
Hmm.
Can you give down your information again so that they can get in touch with you?
My name is Alicina Jackson. I am based out of Tuscaloosa, brokered by World Financial Group. I am an independent life insurance agent. I can be reached at 205-886-1462. I also can be reached by email at my first name, ALECCINAWFG at gmail.com.
I see you talking about. I'm looking at your flyer. You talk about annuities, life benefits. We talked a little bit about retirement. Now, what's the 85 plus companies?
We have 85 plus insurance company
Okay, okay.
that we we
Mhm.
have we have access. I have access to 85 plus company. I have access to Pacific Life. I have access to Global Life. I have access to Transamerica. I research each company based on your need, based on your health condition, based on what you're saying you want. If you say you want $100,000, I have lupus. I will research different companies. Reason I said lupus because most companies is called systematic lupus. That is something most companies will not give you a policy for. So there are different type of lupus. So it depends on what your health issue is to get approved for insurance, life insurance.
What's the earliest a person should invest in life insurance?
As soon as
This
possible. I suggest that the parents do it once they are. I think you have to wait until they have their social security number. Soon as they get their social security number, I suggest they go ahead and do a policy for their child. I recommend Index Universal Life, but I do all policy. I do whatever you feel comfortable with. Because most people feel like I can get a term life right now. I ain't got to pay but $14. Yeah,
Okay.
that's true. They're gonna get whatever is least expensive. But if you're looking for a long term effect, the highest, even though it's your in an index universal life policy, when they are a minor, it gives you as the owner access to that money. And I noticed you asked me once they turn 18, Daryl,
Hmm.
the policy is turned over to them. If you decide at the age of 17 and you done put all your money in it to get that policy, you as the owner can go in there at the age of 17 and say, I want to take $20,000 of that cash value out. There's no penalties and no taxes. If you want to preserve that. But if you want it to continue to grow, you will leave it in there. But you have that option.
Gotcha. This was some good information, and I keep saying to the young people because I see because I'm in the 50-year old bunch, but hey, I see a long time living coming too, and with so far in good health, I'm gonna keep knocking on wood for that. Uh, but I just seen, like I said, back in my 20s when I was 21, 22, I invested in the term life. And I can just
Mhm.
say, hey, yeah, when the 20 years was uh, going through
Mhm.
the process, yes, it was cheap, but once it was over, it was over. It was done.
Uh-huh.
No cash value, no nothing. And basically, they saying, hey, do you want to renew? But once
Mhm.
you renew another 20 years or whatever, there's a upper, you're not paying that same low price. You're paying more. So that's
And
the
that's
advantage,
based off
pros
your
and
health
cons of
and
that.
your age.
Yes, that's the pros and cons of the term. But I guess I still say if you're taking a chance, you got a loved one that's hard headed, maybe that might be your best option. you
Hmm.
know, about that life. I just put it that way. If they're about that life, you might want to say, hey, I'm gonna take a chance on this term life policy, and then also you got the fact that universal life is in there. So you have it. You're paying for your child, for your son,
Hmm.
but it's based on his health condition. Is that correct?
Hmm.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. As I've known people to get the index universal life and still get a term because they may pay $22 for the term and can get $500,000. If they have a car accident, it may double that.
Mm.
Some people still get the term with the universal life, index universal life. It's all in the preference of what you think is beneficial to you. Index universal life is something that builds significant cash value. It is a long term effect for me.
And Saturday, I don't know if you catch the show earlier before you came on. So Saturday, there's a seminar, financial literacy seminar. Mr. Turner is hosting,
Hmm.
and I'm still looking at the fact of people that receive benefits from higher insurance policy. Like I said, $90,000 to $100,000. That money need to be people need to be educated on how to use that particular amount of money also, rather than just hey going out buying rims and tires and things of that nature. So that's something Mr. Turner can uh,
Hmm.
educate more about also, and then hopefully we'll get a chance to have him on here. But Miss Jackson, you're enlightening just this group here about a whole lot of stuff for as insurance and you know
Hey,
options.
Miss Turner's on the phone.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Turner. I didn't.
Miss
I,
Turner?
I think he said he had to drop out for a minute. I seen a comment. He said I have to step
Okay.
away for a minute.
He's
So
still on my line. That's what I was saying.
oh, I guess he stepped away for a second. I really don't have a question. I'm just saying hand in hand how financial literacy.
Hmm.
You know we get